Despite cooler temperatures and the scenery of changing leaves, the middle of October is one of the toughest times in the whitetail woods. With the lull in full swing, movement tends to be subdued. Even as cold fronts move through, most mature bucks aren't quite ready to move far during daylight. Sometimes we catch bucks on those daylight patterns in mid-October, though. That's exactly what has Blake Garrett on his first morning hunt of the season, overlooking an active scrape.
Well, good morning, y'all. It's October 14th, and I'm doing something I don't normally do this time of year. I usually wait another probably 10 days before I start hunting mornings, but the way this stuff's been happening, I'm hunting a scrape this morning, and two bucks have been hitting it every 3 days, and today's the third day. They hit it the 5th, the 8th, and the 11th, and today's the 14th, so I'm hoping that continues, but we'll see. We had a good front come in yesterday evening, early last night. My phone was showing it's supposed to rain all night, but it didn't happen, but that's alright. That's what I was hoping they would come and freshen this scrape up after the rain and everything. This field I'm hunting, they've just recently planted wheat, and when they worked up the scrape, and the bucks haven't been back to open it up, so there were some things compounding where I was hoping that they would come and open that scrape back up. Just gotta wait and see. I'm just now starting to see a few does out in the field right now, but they're a long ways off. Sit tight, and we'll see what happens. I bet this wind has them held tight to their beds. They got in early and they just held tight. So it was worth a shot, especially after having 2 bucks pattern on this scrape that I've been watching. So I had to try it. So I'm gonna slip down here before too long and shoot.
Later that afternoon, Scott Clark heads out for his first sit of the fall with Uncle Jeff behind the camera. They're setting up on a small piece of permission property that borders public ground, hoping to find a mature deer before the coming increase in hunting pressure makes them nearly impossible to see in daylight.
So it's Saturday afternoon. We're out here on some permission property. It's 56 degrees. The wind's picked up a little bit since this morning, but the wind is right to be here. Part of the other reason we're here is when we're bordering state property, when those guys come in to hunt that, they tend to make this oak flat go quiet. So we have to hunt this early with this kind of wind. So we may not see anything. We could see a flurry of activity. This is just one of those spots you never know from time to time. So we're gonna sit here and see what happens.
After a slow night for Dad and Jeff, Blake and I head out the next morning looking to catch up with a solid 7-point that has recently shown up on camera.
So it's October 15th. We're in here in the new Rhinos blind for the first time. We slipped in here because I'm a genius and got my times wrong this morning. So this was the closest place we could get. We got in a little bit late, but I don't think anything was moving yet. It's less than 50 degrees. It's mid-40s this morning, so hoping something will be maybe cruising on the way back to bed. We'll catch them a little late. We have the food plot over here. We're sitting over Milo in this blind that I put in here, kind of as a screen, but also as some food. Unfortunately, it looked really good, but when that drought came, it all just kind of abandoned ship, dropped seed. So there's a little bit left, but not much. But it's still working as a good screen. So we slipped in here into this blind, and then we got food on the other quarter acre of this little half-acre plot. And it's hard to probably see on the camera. We'll try to show you in a second, but it's coming up underneath all these weeds. If you guys watched the video that we did on that, you kind of saw what happened there. I tried to do buckwheat on it, but it didn't end up getting the water it needed. So anyway, we got food on that side and screening on this side, and then we're sitting in this blind, which is also good because it's rained on a little bit. So it's a nice October morning. I mean, it's a good morning to be on stand. We're gonna probably still shoot the first doe that walks out today because I need to get a couple off of here, and it's not too late for me to want to do that yet. We also have a nice 7-pointer that we know has been in the area. Dark horn deer, pretty heavy. Just a cool, get a crab claw on one side. He's got some cool character. He's not a monster by any means, but for this 10-acre piece, he's definitely a shooter, I think. But that's the plan for today, so we'll sit in here for a few hours and hopefully something walks by and gives us a shot. Luck this morning. We were just talking about it. It's pretty typical. I've got pictures in here at least every other day of does in the mornings, and we couldn't even find them today. So we got a few crows. You guys can hear them in the background, but no luck. We're gonna get out of here. I'm gonna grab a camera from the truck, come back and set it on this scrape out here that I've got that I think they've been working. We think that's what that 7-point was doing in here a couple mornings ago. So we're gonna do that and then get on the road and make a plan for this afternoon.
While Blake and I head out for another uneventful evening hunt, Dad and Jeff get settled for another permission property sit in their climbers. Overlooking a busy creek crossing with acorns falling nearby and rain showers clearing, they anticipate more movement than they saw the previous afternoon.
So it's another day at another property. It's a permission property, it's not ours. We're rained off and on today. We had a pop-up shower just about the time we were getting ready to hunt, so we're running about 30 minutes later than we'd like to be anyway. We're set up on a creek crossing
We got good oak trees around us. We know where they cross, so we'll just see what happens.
That wasn't a bad hunt.
You know, it was a good hunt.
Had a doe come out across
Yeah.
the creek from me. If I'd had my crossbow, I probably could have shot her, but she was just a young doe. I didn't feel like messing with her
I think
from across the creek. Anyway.
Yeah, I never saw her. I think I asked you if she was a shooter or not. All right, next time.
Yeah, next weekend. The old men are done for this weekend.
That's right.
We'll get
Back
together.
to work.
Try to see what happens next weekend. So be safe, y'all.
Talked to a lot of guys this morning, and according to them and according to my cameras and their cameras, not much has been moving. So I could explain why I haven't seen much. I bet this wind has them held tight to their beds.
Another day at another property. It's rained off and on today. We're set up on a creek crossing. We got good oak trees around us. We know where they cross, so we'll just see what happens.
Didn't have much luck this morning. We were just talking about it. It's pretty typical. I've got pictures in here at least every other day of does in the mornings, and we couldn't even find them today. So.
Studies have shown that whitetail bucks are continually on their feet more and more during daylight as we progress into the opening month of the season, indicating that the October lull is just a myth. However, quiet trail cameras and slow hunts that always seem to accompany these few weeks would tend to disagree. We're not discouraged though. We know better days are just around the corner. Those days are why we continue our fall pursuit.